Hi, welcome to Cutscene. If you're doing this right, you're going to hear three assholes give a collective sigh of relief. I'm Eric.
I'm Jason.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to I Beat It First presents Cutscene. Finally over. Yes. Finally over.
I didn't think they could make the intro worse.
Okay, so they did like add stuff to it,
yes,
right?
they did add stuff to it.
That like
They added
fucked
sound
me.
effects and like previews from the upcoming episode
Yeah.
into the intro.
Okay, I was just like, because I'd skip and I'd be like, and like making noises and people were talking. I'm like, whoa. And then I'd skip back because like, am I skipping through the intro? And then I'd hear that horrible music. I'm like, nope. And I move forward.
I found out that I think it was like it was 5 hits from the jump forward, and then it would go right to that, and then I could skip again. But even that, the what's coming up was just like half of it was out of context quotes that make you feel a little iffy about things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who chooses that? Hey, before you watch this show, let's spoil the fuck out of it. Right now.
Right now.
Now that you've watched the intro, there's no fucking reason to watch this show.
You've made it this far into the show.
But I don't understand why they made that horrible song even worse by adding in all the weird, like, video game special effect sounds and whatnot.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
It's not like they're even like good sound effects. It's just like
Yeah.
and all that.
Just randomly placed. Doesn't fit anything at all.
It was so bad. Oh, Jesus.
There's nothing original about this anime, but they fucked up the intro scene like nobody else. So props to them.
For those of you that are just joining us, which, what the fuck have you been doing? We have been watching Knights and Magic, and we are now on episodes 9 through 13, the last 5 episodes of this series. And thank God for that.
Worst mistake.
Is it though?
Yeah, I mean, this was...
It's up there, Asobi.
No, Asobi say it like, I would watch the cringiest, like, dirt anime over there. Like, I'd watch Monster Monsume or whatever the fuck that was.
No, you don't want to. No.
I know I don't want to.
Remember we did the how far can you make it in this, and I won. Sadly won that.
I know, but that one I would go in at least being like, I'm just gonna like have to bleach my eyeballs, rather than being like that slight glimmer of hope of like maybe like Darth Vader will come out of nowhere and start murdering people that I had with this one.
Which, by the way, guys, if you watch the abridged version of Monster Monsume, it's way better. It's like the entire series cut down into like 20 minutes. And it's like the guy is basically like doing a dating show. It's pretty funny. It's pretty fucking funny. It's way better than that.
Everything's better than that show, except for Knights and Magic.
Oh man,
Black Clover is better.
You know,
not
like
by much, but yes.
Here's the main thing about it. Like, it honestly wasn't a bad anime. It was just so bland, generic, and nothing mattered. Nobody cared about anything. This was shovelware equivalent of anime.
Well, and like I said, it felt like they were basically taking 4 episodes worth of content and cramming it into, or 4 seasons worth of content and cramming it into a season. And that's why like all the time jumps and everything like that. There's no real character development. As we said, D or whatever the hell that guy's name was the only one that had any character development.
Right. I'm no longer a coward for some reason.
Yeah. And then he's the one giving pep talks in this group of episodes, which was kind of cool. But still, that's it.
Although
it's all about that aesthetic.
That's right. That
Fuck your
aesthetic.
aesthetics.
And really, the moral of that story is if you're a coward, get a bigger gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
No swords. Get more swords.
Whatever, get bigger weapons. Because
Yeah,
as
if you're
a coward, you
get
should,
more swords. Because he had 1 sword in that one, and now he had 2 swords.
That's right.
And jet thrusters.
And jet thrusters. Yes, get 2 swords and jet thrusters.
More weapons, bigger dick. We just proved it right here.
And 2 little staffs sticking out your side.
I just like the ingenuity of this show is just stupid. Like even when they're like, we have 2 geniuses that are now rivals and in like evolving their platforms together. It's just like, no shit, guys. Like, even with your magic stuff that you'd find in it, it's just like, move on. Like, we get it. My favorite was just like, we're gonna beat them. I mean, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but we're gonna beat them by just putting fucking more guns on these things.
Yes.
And that's like, boo, we're like geniuses.
You mean like the point
fuck
when
you, we got 8.
when they realize, oh, you know what's better than 2 back arms? 4 back arms.
Well, and I like when the other genius guy was just like, "Oh, you plagiarized my idea." I'm like, "Motherfucker, look at all your mechs."
Yeah, they
You
stole
our
like
mech
everything
to
from the
plagiarize
mechs.
it from.
Yeah. Steal
fuck
my
yourself.
one design idea for getting lift. Oh, okay. Steal all my ideas for making mechs actually good.
My other favorite moral from this story is that ether gets you lifted.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Ether get you high, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What?
Get on that ether.
All right. So let's start off with episode 9, Force and Solution. Okay. How do you pronounce the Empire's name? I thought it was Veridek, but everything on Crunchyroll says Jarodek.
Yeah, Jarodok.
Jarodek?
It was a hard J.
Sure.
Jarodek?
Jarodek.
Jarodek?
Jabberwocky.
Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky. The powerful Jabberwocky Empire is attacking the Occident countries in an attempt to unify their side of the mountains. When things get out of hand, it's a perfect opportunity for Ernie to try out his new mech.
So my favorite was that immediately they now just said, all right, remember the rest of this anime that you've been watching? Fuck it all. We're
Yes.
now on this side of the mountains, and we're going to start off just like for no reason with people you've never heard of before.
And in one section on the other side of the mountains, there's always a red moon. Always a red
Always.
moon.
I
The
didn't know
the
this.
Jabberwocky country, they're always under some weird fucking red moon.
Oh,
As
yeah,
if,
that's
like,
right.
they're in like devil dimension or something
Dude,
like that.
like stereotypically evil. I have a
Yeah.
throne made of demon skulls. Just like, yes, you want peace and
Yes.
prosperity for your people, don't you?
Yep. You're a trustworthy guy.
Open
Trustworthy
Red Moon
guy.
Castle. Oh no, Black Knights. Oh good, sounds like a religious crusade.
The Jabberwockies and their Scientology.
Then I feel like 8 episodes were done just for this. Like they sped through all of that just to get to this one big climactic war, and that's what they were doing.
And
But
then
again,
it's the most anticlimactic war.
yeah, 4 seasons worth of anime shoveled into 1 season of anime.
Yeah, you could tell that they really wanted to be like Gundam Wing, but
Yeah.
they're like, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to show it on maps.
You know how Gundam Wing had all that character development? Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do
I just
time
want them to
jumps.
talk about mechs. And was
Robots.
was it just me, or did they like just start calling them mechs out of nowhere?
They just started calling them mechs out of nowhere.
Okay,
and
I
then
was
every
like,
once in a while they'd start calling them silhouette knights. He would still refer to them as robots. Like it was just all over the place. They were talking about the same fucking thing, but there were like 50 different words for everything.
Right.
So ridiculous.
I was like,
And then-
so if they're calling them mechs, what is that short for? Because they should be calling them like cell knights or something like that instead. Because I was like, what
Yeah,
are you
cell
doing with
knights.
your naming?
It's Silnai. Silnai.
Silnai.
Silnai.
Silnai, the metal guy.
Silnai, the mech robot.
Yeah, so then they switch to they're invading, and the king and all them are like sitting at their table with their giant map up, and then they've all got those big fucking rakes, and I'm like, Risk should be played with giant table rakes.
Dude,
That's
I
how
thought
Risk should be played.
I saw that too, and I was just like, immediately thought of like those giant like novelty chessboards that you see at like resorts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was like, give me a Risk version, or I was thinking like a Warhammer or.
No, dude, if they did that at one of those resorts, man, you know how many fucking fights there would be?
No more than over chess.
I don't know, man. Risk ruins friendships. Risk is the OG equivalent of Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers.
That's the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Lets you know who your
Old
real friends
school.
are. If you can backstab a friend and then you guys crack a beer, friends for life.
Oh man,
That's
So
why I
then
have 3 friends.
They show up and oh no, they have back arms. How did they get back arms? Oh wait, that's right. I remember the plot that happened like a few episodes ago.
Right.
They stole shit. And then anybody else pick up on the fact that the leader of the the Jabberwocky Empire looks like he belongs in Avatar.
Oh, totally.
He looks like he's from the Water Nation or whatever nation that was. Like his hair is just like that weird pompadour, but then pushed forward thing. But then in the back, it's in like a ponytail, but it's shaved on the sides, and it's fucking bad.
Just ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
He's a warbender that got conquered by the Fire Nation.
Yes.
Everything was fine until the Fire Nation attacked.
Fucking Fire Nation. And then, ooh, planes. And then, oh yeah, they still weren't using, like, even though they were like the advanced people that knew how to pilot mechs well, they still weren't using the back arms like together in tandem with things. It was still like, stop, fire back arms, don't use forearms at the same time. Blah 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 blah. The assassin shows up, that chick that stole everything for it, and they send the princess away, which I was assuming was going to be a new person to fall for Ernie, but no.
Oh, thank God. I was like,
Yeah, that would have been stupid. It's like, then it dawns on me, this is like a poor man's Game of Thrones with very little fighting.
and no surprises.
They're like all of the prep for it. Like, imagine if Game of Thrones did all that prep work in setting up the fighting, like all of just the bickering and the stupid, like, crappy dialogue, and then you didn't get that 45-minute fight where Jon Snow ends up, like, getting sandwiched underneath everybody.
They just do a chessboard.
Yeah, they just do chessboards. Which they do chessboards in Game of Thrones. They do that one in the Red Keep where they've got that giant map that Cersei had made. But still, at least they do the actual fighting. And there's no fighting. They don't show any of the good fighting, which is just stupid. King comes out, issues a challenge. The other mech is totally ready. Like, how is it that he's just automatically ready for that? Like, he was sitting inside the plane, and all of a sudden the king comes out, and he's like, I'm in my mech now.
Oh, yeah.
Fire
Time
Nation's
skips,
always
bro.
prepared.
Mm-hmm. Time skips.
Fire Nation's always prepared, everybody. Oh, dear God. The girls put up the worst fucking fight ever and get captured. And then the Ernesti and their group magically just show up at the border. Like, there's no, like messages making it down or them being in the area and hearing rumors about things. They just show up at the border. You just
Okay,
see,
yeah,
no
I was
reason.
like, did I fall asleep in like episode 8? And they're like, hey, I'm gonna need you to go across the mountains for reasons.
Nope.
And nope, they just all of a sudden were like, this is what we're doing, and we're merchants now because
no,
why
this
not?
is season 3. This is the start of season 3.
Pretty much.
Episode 8 was the end of season 2. This is the start of season 3. And you have that weird, like, bit in there, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, time has happened because it's been time since I watched, you know, these seasons, so obviously time's happened there.
Yeah,
Nothing.
There's tons of time skips. They just
But they
don't
didn't
tell
even
you.
say it was a time skip.
No,
They don't tell you about all the time skips because there's so many.
they just show up in their one little wagon, and then all of a sudden there's 1,000 of them.
Yes, this is also true. They have 2 centaurs and 2 wagons, and all of a sudden, boom, there's like 50 mechs everywhere.
Right.
And they refer to themselves as the Silver Phoenix Merchants Guild, or Alliance, or whatever the hell it was, which is just stupid. Let's see here.
We're the Silver Phoenix. We're merchants.
Yeah.
We're not knights, we're merchants.
Oh yeah, and the prince was also there, and they refer to him as Young Master, because obviously the giant golden mech that they probably heard about from over the mountains, that couldn't possibly be the prince. We should refer to him as Young Master because we don't want people knowing that he's the prince.
Of course.
And these merchants, you know, just randomly have these centaur mechs you've never
Yes.
seen before.
And this is where we finally find out he legit built a Gundam. Like, it looks like a Gundam, moves like a Gundam. Like, everything about this fucking thing is a Gundam. It even has a heat sword or a laser sword. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to make like that stereotypical Gundam like movement
pose?
sound.
Yeah, and the pose where,
Yeah.
like, the light flashes.
Yeah.
Eyes start glowing more.
Shimmer, shimmer.
And it even looks like it's a Gundam fighting weak-ass Zaku's.
Well, I mean that at least was more correct to canon than anything else because he was a fucking otaku. If
Yes.
you're like, hey, you have unlimited resources to build a robot, what would you build first? It'd be either be a Evangelion or a fucking Gundam.
Well, look at it this way. Remember way back in, what was it, episode 2, where they were talking about how it doesn't have to follow the form of a human. And they're like, okay, well, let's just add 2 arms. Like, well, you could, go further and make it look like a centaur, obviously. They took a step back. Why didn't they continue? Like, it didn't even transform. Like, I was expecting it to, like, transform into bird mode or something like that for flight at some point in this.
Nah, he was just like, fuck that, I just want to fly.
I just want my Gundam with 4 back arms.
Oh man! So they kill everybody. The next thing they show is the smart soldiers down there actually assessing the situation, and dumbass Ernie walks up and literally says, "Are you talking about silhouette nights? You can't talk about silhouette nights without me around."
That's the one thing I wrote down. I was just like, fuck you, kid. Like, just go away.
Stupid, annoying motherfucker. Which I did like that at the very end of this season, they basically ignored him when he started going nuts on robots.
Yeah. They're like,
And
all
they
right, I'm
just
out of here.
walked out. Like, deuces, see you later.
He's never
Even
gonna shut
Addie had started to get annoyed by his stupidity.
Everyone hates this anime so much, including the characters.
Oh man, since they stole our ideas, that means that these units are ours too. That means we can take it. I mean, and then they're like, that's not very knightly. And it's like, what? Spoils of war, bitches.
My other favorite part is that they're not actually in war. They just showed up and started murdering people. So, like, already that's not very knightly. And then looting is, like, the smallest part of that.
Well, I think that, didn't the Black Knights attack first? No, they just closed the door on them. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And they blasted the door.
Then the prince came out and blasted the door, and then they were defending themselves,
Right.
and then they murdered all of them.
Yeah.
Ernie's a dick.
Ernie's a dick.
Well, that's not the flag we're respecting, so I guess that means we can murder you all.
Yeah. But you know who else is a dick? The Fire Nation prince. He's also a dick.
They're all dicks. Shows
So-
a bunch of dicks.
The assassins head out to find Ernie. The worst spy is in there actually doing good spy work.
That's right.
And she is well behind enemy lines.
For 2 seconds and then teleports back.
Yeah, then magically teleports back. Yeah, because she beats the assassins to where they were going.
Right.
Like, she's just there when the assassins get there, and they know that they're coming. Gustav sounds like a stoner, and the knights all shoot like stormtroopers. Like, nobody could hit at all. I thought the targeting system was supposed to be pretty good.
They don't have the thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then finally, we see someone do something else new with the back arms, and they pull them underneath and shoot underneath. Like, they're locked in combat. The back arms come up and shoot at the other guy from underneath, which I thought was actually kind of cool.
What? You're shooting from your hips?
Dick shot. Shot the dick. Dick shot.
Dick shot. Then the sword freak comes out, and he literally says, "Swords are strong. The more I have, the stronger I'll be. It's logic."
I actually liked him when he first came out, and then when he came out again in episode 13, he was like the worst. The absolute worst.
And then I think the other guy said, "Oh, you're one kind of massive idiot," and that's it. So he has 4 swords because he has 1 sword in each hand, and then he converted the back cannons into sword arms. So he's got 4 swords. He basically has.
Well, then I think he also has some mounted on him, too.
Did he have some mounted on him?
They
as well?
had like a sword dress or something like that. He had a bunch.
like they were all like his little skirt.
Yeah.
So he could just toss one aside and pull out another one.
And then Big Boobs McGee comes to the rescue. And that's it. That literally all that happened in one episode, and it felt like nothing happened because there was no action.
I like on how
So rushed.
Big Boobs McGee's like corset or whatever, it just keeps getting lower and lower.
Oh yeah. And keeps pushing the boobs up higher and higher.
Ridiculous like
Thank
levels.
you, Boobs McGee. You're my favorite. Big Boobs McGee is Oh, apparently Google thought that I was trying to talk to it. Google has big boobs, apparently.
Google's like, you need big boobs? You got it.
I couldn't recognize your voice. Did you talk about big boobs? Because I can pull up big boob pictures. No, please don't. That would be bad. Please don't throw off my Google search algorithm. 5 trillion.
Yeah. Today.
In the last hour.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Which brings us to episode 10. War and Princess. Which, God, these titles are so stupid.
Not even trying. Not even trying.
The Jabberwocky forces have captured the princesses, and before any operation can begin, they need to be rescued. Ernie leads a group of 4 on a mission to rescue them using the human-sized silhouette gears, which was just dumb.
This
They're
whole
like,
thing.
Well, let's take 6 episodes worth of shit, or 4, I'll say 4 episodes worth of shit, cram it all into one episode, and then let's stretch out this really boring, stupid episode. Because they stretched out this whole thing of like, of doing the rescue and everything for like half the episode. And it's like, it didn't really need to be that much.
No. And her indifference, the princess's indifference, is just so tacky. And, you know, you could obviously tell that they're like, shit, we only have like 3 more episodes that we got to make. We need to have someone else like develop as a person. All right, well, let's make the princess really like a shut-in. It's like, okay.
And really, really quiet and timid. Like, let's make her, Futaba. Just
right,
not cool. Not cool Futaba. Gotcha. That's how we do it. Because we don't know how old she is. She's probably Futaba's age. 15 or 16 years old. So, I mean, she does fall for kid. So, it's about that age.
Still, every time someone talks to him, I'm just like, yeah, that's right. His name's fucking Kid.
Well, it's our kid.
Ugh.
And then they call him Kid. But yes, his nickname is Kid, and his name is Dumb.
Just like this show.
Just like your show. Your name is dumb. Your show is dumb. You should feel bad.
All right, so they show up in this town that they're like have everybody set in, which I think was the main capital that they attacked. Is that right?
I have no idea. At this point, they've now thrown 18 retarded names at us, and I'm just like, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. Like, they're like, the city of Fafisaville and the other knights of the Kokarkur clan are joining in with the shoes people. And I'm just like, what?
And the
So I was already like, all right, which one's like Silver Fox? Got it. Or Silver, what are they? Fox? Eagle?
Silver Fang.
Silver Fang? Jesus.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
There's the bronze something or other.
No, the good guys.
I know.
There's the Silver Phoenix.
The Silver Phoenix.
Silver Phoenix,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah. Yeah, there's the
Like, I
Iron
don't know,
Bronze
man. They
Fang.
threw out so much shit.
They so much. Like that narrator comes on, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you for like 2 seconds. Pay attention.
Listen to everything I say because I'm gonna go through this as fast as the anime did.
So draw some hard knowledge on you right now.
Right?
This is all the shit that we wanted to give you, but we didn't get the budget to do multiple seasons.
I'm surprised they didn't like then be like, and this is the explanation that shall now be known as the explanation. And then people are just like, remember the explanation? I do remember the explanation. Good. Don't explain it again because we already explained that in the explanation. You're right. The explanation was all that we needed.
So they get there and it looks like Nazi occupied like Poland. Like,
oh yeah,
legit.
yeah. It was like all kinds of derelict. Yeah.
Mechs standing on corners, no one around. It's dark, but there's searchlights. Like it looks like it's Nazi occupied. It's really, really weird.
The dude had a dragon skull throne.
Yes, this is true. He's mini Hitler.
Yes.
It's
Mini
a
demon Hitler. Mini
dragon
demon Fire Nation
demon
Hitler.
beast skull, okay?
Oh God. Oh yeah, that's right. The dragon demon beast. That's what it was. Oh fuck, I didn't think about that. Thank you, Chris. God, that's so bad. And this is when I finally like sat there because I was writing and the credits came on, and this is when I noticed that they had like just added shit. Like just randomly, like, oh, here you go. We're just gonna add weird stuff into the middle of the credits. There you go. So So the prince falls in the hoplite immediately because, yeah, he's all like arrogant about like, yeah, and then just falls. They're supposed to hit all 4 at once, but they never really talk about Ernie like ever developing like radio or like how they would talk. And they never really seemed to talk to each other in that. They just kind of like went on this instinctual like 5 minutes out, attack the tower, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, synchronizer watches, that was common. But what did piss me off...
What watches? They don't have watches.
Look at the stars, motherfucker. Look, when it gets there... Wait. There.
So
Look at me.
As soon as Ursa
There.
Major passes over the top of the keep, go. Wait, which way am I supposed to be facing Ursa Major then?
Go.
They got magic clocks.
Yeah, they were able to make keys. I think they can make some time-based something. I don't know.
Yeah, but they hadn't invented them until Ernie invented them. And
But
you think that his mech otaku ass is going to want to invent a goddamn watch?
He invented
He
a
has to measure
goddamn
the time
key.
jumps.
Because he had to.
Well, he had to now do it the clock too. Besides,
Okay,
they were
we'll
talking to each other already in the other mechs. They probably just copy and pasted it on over. Like whatever.
And Chris is right. They had to invent it so that they could keep track of their time jumps.
Nice. What also like really threw me off is that when Ernesti is in his Ikaruga, whatever it's called, he's got voice
spotted
modification
dove.
on.
The spotted dove, you mean?
Yeah. He has
Yeah,
voice
what's with the
modification.
voice modulator?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he's a child playing on Xbox Live.
Oh, God,
That,
it's
that
so
bugged
bad. Like,
the shit out of me.
I think that's what they were going for.
It's totally what they were going for.
And, God, it was so horrible.
Like
I hated it
sometimes I was just
so
like,
much.
"What did he say?"
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure it's stupid.
So they're all storming in. Ernie shows up and rescues the older lady. The prince rescues his cousin. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because she's all over his ass,
Yeah.
like white on rice. Like she wants him bad.
Or I think he was the cousin of the older one, so she might have been like second cousin or aunt.
I think that
doesn't
was
matter.
the
There's
daughter?
animes with
I don't
like
know.
sister love. Who gives a
This,
shit? Like
this is
normal.
true.
Yeah.
Addie storms into an empty room. And then I wrote down, "Kid is gonna get laid."
Aren't you a little short to be a silhouette knight?
Oh, God. And then, like, no amount of talking to her gets her to leave that fucking tower, but as soon as he pledges himself to be her knight, she's like, "Oh, okay, let's go."
Dude, I was like, he literally told you he's gonna rape you. Like, why are you sticking around?
Yes, this is also true. You're going to marry me, and you're going to like it.
or I'll poison you and go for someone else. It's just like, why? Why would you stay? What is your hesitation? Satan
I
could
think
have
I
shown
should
up
stay.
himself and been like, "Hey, let's go," and you'd be like, "You know what? I'm fine." I don't know. It's just
No,
crazy.
I'm
to me.
good. I'm good. I kind of like getting raped. No, nobody likes getting raped.
Well, he is handsome.
No, he's not.
He's got squirrely hair. I like.
Nobody likes the Fire Nation. So, as they were heading to the towers, and now as they're leaving the towers, they continually jump by the Black Knights. And supposedly the Black Knights don't notice. Like, at one point, they actually show them jumping over them, like either front to back or back to front, one of the two, and they just don't notice them at all.
They're too.
They're
small.
just, like, standing
They're
there.
obviously too. Yeah, they're just
Exactly.
super stealthy.
They have to be too small. They have to be.
Then why are they standing guard over civilization? You're not gonna be able to see anybody, but just stand there looking menacing as fuck. You got it.
Something went over my head. It's got to be like an hour or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Alice.
It's just Alice. So now they introduce a new guy. They don't actually give you his name, but he's glasses guy, and he adjusts his glasses wrong. He's that guy that adjusts his glasses from the sides.
Well, he had
And everybody
weird
knows.
lenses.
Everybody knows. Always go for the center.
So see, they wanted to be original here, Eric.
No, that is like that's how old guys adjust their glasses. That's not original. That's how old people adjust their glasses.
No, original anime. They're like, everyone does the finger push. We may have a shit story, crappy animation, and nowhere to go with this, but our dude's gonna like push up his glasses like an old dude.
And yes, you're right. He had like an extra lens on the right eye for some reason.
Bifocals. We're literally fighting against Benjamin Franklin.
Basically, but it wasn't even like bifocals. Like that thing covered the entire other lens.
Maybe he's got like a wonky eye and it like looks out like the corner.
That could be. Maybe he has a wonky eye. And then this is when we finally hear Ernie's voice again. This is when it really grated on me. I was like, Ernie's voice is annoying in the mech.
Yeah, so bad.
And then, oh god, glasses guy is just like Ernie. Because that's what we needed. 2 fucking otaku motherfuckers out there.
Well, this would be the third one because we had the old guy in the.
Oh yes, yeah, but he luckily he was only there for like that episode worth time.
True, I'd rather have this guy than that old guy.
I don't know. I kind of liked looking at the old guy have a stroke.
His voice was horrible though. So bad.
So now this is when it's 2 back arms weren't enough. 4 back arms.
We'll give everybody dresses and more arms.
The kid takes the princess on an impromptu date. The best thing that happened during that entire thing was when they stopped at like a little like shopping stall and they bought something and they walked away and the shopkeeper like sits there, jaw drops a little bit, turns, looks at this painting behind him of the king and the princess, and is like, whoa.
They're never gonna believe me.
I just saw Bill fucking Murray.
So now the assassins show up because, yeah, obviously. They try to steal the mechs, but the keys are missing. So they sit there and they're like, yeah, man, we're just going to do the same thing we fucking did last time, steal all their mechs and kill them all with them. Why isn't it moving? And then they just pop in like, yeah, you're not going to pull the same trick on us twice.
But they did pull the same trick of being able to get past your lousy ass defenses.
Yeah.
They got into the princess's room with no problem.
Yes, this is also true.
Ridiculous.
But they were also kind of letting them, I think. Because
Oh,
Ernie
you
was
might
like
be right
waiting.
about that, yeah.
Like they were just waiting in the wind because, again, the worst spy ever magically teleported there.
And then, so they capture them. But then, and I'm sure we're going to talk about the battle with...
No, they kill them all.
And then they say they killed them all. that cracked me up.
Yeah, they kill them all. Especially the chick. Like, she just gets fucked up.
Yeah, she got fucked. And that was the one that was just like, yeah, you totally killed that girl. Whatever, that's great. But my favorite was like they made an effort to show that, no, we tied these people up. We took them as prisoners. And then the report is, everyone's dead. We fucking gutted them. It's just like, brutal as fuck.
Well, and what was that guy's fucking name? Edward or who? The other guy that's
The
like
jock
the head.
bro. The jock one.
Yeah, the jock one, not the one that actually had some character development.
Right, yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
So he's the one that got his ass beat by the assassin like earlier on, and they're fighting, and he's in his new mech, and she legitimately says, "It's pretty quick despite that fat ass.
That was great.
You move
remember
pretty
that.
well despite having a bunch of junk in your trunk."
Damn, that mech's thick.
Yes.
3
Jesus
C's.
Christ. Like the one thing that this show is good for so far is like quick, weird, stupid one-liners.
Also, what was his final move? Like, he's just like, haha, I'll do this. And he, like, threw chunks of himself off the mech, but they didn't seem to do anything, really.
Oh, it was, he fired bits of the shield.
Right, but then he'd shoot, but she was just distracted. Like, that was
it
his
just a
ultimate
distraction.
move.
Yeah.
Like,
Distraction.
haha,
Ultimate move. Distraction.
pieces.
Oh, man. And then mech fights are too fucking short.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they go by like that. Mm-hmm. Ridiculously quick. Oh, God. 3 episodes to go, guys.
Let's skip one. No one will know.
Oh, man. All right. Episode 11, Hit and Away. Ernie repels the Bronze Fang ambush. Yes, Ernie did. That's right. It was just Ernie. He was the only one that did that. but the Jabberwockies know where Eleonora is. Can Ernie hold off their levitate ships? Yeah, Eleonora, that's a stupid fucking name. Just throwing that out there.
What name in this has not been stupid?
And levitate ships. Levitate ships.
Yes, they're levitating, not flying. There's no concept of
Levitate
flying.
ships.
Ernie knows flying, but he doesn't call it that either.
Like they actually like at the very end of the series, they refer to them as airships,
Yeah, yes.
which is the better term for it. But yes, fucking levitate ships. Oh man.
So my favorite part of this episode was the Monsieur javelins.
Yes, the
Those just-
Sam packs. First thing that I written here, and this is like the coolest things that he's developed. He has developed phosphorescent skylighting and Sam packs, surface to air missiles.
And they call them Mr. Javelin.
Mr. Javelin, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Javelin.
And I'm gonna fuck up your levitate ships.
Oh man.
Spears can't go this high. It's Mr. Javelin.
Yeah. Ernie's in the
Unless you
sky.
have power. Oh!
God. I don't need to hear that stupid thing. Did that happen on this podcast, or was it the other podcast that you tried using that stupid laugh?
Our listeners will have to listen and find
Oh,
out.
God. All right, so Ernie's in the sky flying around, and Addie's like, it's like adding salt into the wound. And then suddenly there's just a fuck ton of centaurs.
Oh, just a fuck ton. Yeah,
Just
like,
a fuck ton.
in like a billion legion. They're like, this is what the B company's for. It's just like, where the fuck did B company come from? Like, it's just like, all right. I mean, when did they develop the javelins? I guess too. I mean, this is one of those great time hops.
Yeah. Then the Fire
It's
Fire
just
Nation
like
Prince.
World War II with the Sherman tanks, man. They just start pumping these motherfuckers out.
That's true.
That is true. Except they're really fucking far away from home. They don't have any really reliable ways to transport things, and they never showed them talking to their homeland.
But they are salvaging and pillaging everything, and they did use the stolen technology. So the technology they're starting with isn't bargain basement like the local knights.
Yeah. And is this the episode where they talk about how, like, yeah, actually, it's coming up. That's right. So the arrogant prince is forced to retreat, and then he has to fight with Ernie. He offers Ernie wealth and power. I may not look it, but I've got a pretty good compensation package already. And he's basically like, he can at any moment just decide to trump the king.
Right.
Like, his power is technically absolute in this fucking kingdom. So then the guy's like, all right, he's like, I'll give you anything. He's like, oh, you'll give me anything? Okay, I want control over your entire army and basically your entire nation. He's like,
Right.
what?
And
He's
then
like, well, that's what I have now.
and then he goes to destroy the ship because he'd rather die than grovel or surrender. And I was like, did he forget that the guy can fly?
Yes. Prince shoots down own ship, forgetting Ernie can fly.
And then I was kind of pissed as well that why didn't Ernie just grab him then? Like, just be like, okay, I'll just grab you then. And
Ernie didn't care about saving the Fire Nation prince.
He didn't. This is more
No.
savagery right there. It's just like, I'm just here to fuck bitches and get mechs. And I'm all out of mechs to grab.
No, he's here to fuck mechs.
True.
I'm the mech that's gonna fuck this other mech.
Mech fucker.
The anime.
So the princess is still a whiner. Okay, see, like I was hearing it as Zoladex, not Joladex or whatever.
Don't remember.
Jaredex.
Doesn't
I don't
matter.
know. Jabberwockies.
Jabberwockies.
Jabberwockies are they use
Jordex.
condensed
Jordex?
ether into gems.
Jordex?
What?
Oshkosh
Jordex?
Bagosh?
Rolodex?
Jordash. Jordash. is the
Jordash. The Jordash. No, the Jabberwockies are still better.
thing. Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know what we're doing, we did a super fantastic spoilerific podcast for Avengers Infinity War on I Made It First, and we just started coming up with new names for all the stupid alien races that came up.
It's great.
And At one point, they were Digimon. And,
Bart and Lisa Simpson.
I forget everything that we came up with.
We had the whole Simpson family in there too. Yeah,
It was so great. You should totally pull that one up on your feed, everybody.
Yeah, stop listening to this crap. Go back and listen.
That one was way better. And the source material, infinitely better. Infinity Stone-ish better. Hey.
Pun intended.
Pun always intended, let's be honest.
Yeah. Don't be a pussy. Intend your puns.
Oh, God. So this is... The princess is smitten with Kid, and she's, like, trying to feed him. I'm trying to remember what this was from. At one point, somebody started crying, and they said crying is just sweat of the heart.
Oh, yeah, because they wanted to be... The engineers were like, why aren't we having tea
That's
and cake?
right. They weren't at the fancy dinner.
It also bugged me that Kid was, like, all put off by the princess. Just like, bitch, you just, like swore your allegiance to her like you weren't after that poon. Like, what do you think you're doing here?
Oh, yeah. Like... No, he inadvertently was after that poon. He's like that idiot guy that goes out to the bar and ends up picking up like 3 chicks without even trying and doesn't realize it. And then after he's picked up those 3 chicks, he's like, yeah, all right, well, I'm going to go home. See you later.
You got it. That's it.
I thought you said you wanted to smash. I did.
It did.
Grab
Smash
controller.
Brothers.
4v4.
Grab a controller. I'm Yoshi.
I'm Yoshi.
I needed 3 other people so that we could do 4-person Smash.
I hear it's how you unlock Waluigi.
No, you can't unlock Waluigi because Waluigi is the worstest. Worstest. Never gonna be in Smash other than a sticker. Boom.
You got to play 4v4, and it has to be with Yoshi, Jigglypuff.
No, stop spreading lies, dude. So now we get a real legitimate time jump. This is the first time jump in this batch of episodes, at least, where they tell us about the time jump. And it's several months have passed. We've glossed over the fact that he basically like barters this whole trade thing where he's like, oh yeah, I don't mind, like we'll help you guys, just let us take all the spoils of war, it's totally cool, then we'll sell them back to you. Oh, okay, well you need help? Okay, well yeah, you could just use some of our mechs. I did like the scarecrows though. I thought the scarecrows were kind of cool, where they just had like shield dresses on them,
Right, with a shit ton of arms. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about before. It was just like, you know what'll be better than 2 guns? 8.
8.
We need more guns.
I'm a
Octomech.
developing genius.
Add more arms. Soon it's just going to be one giant ass arm, and then it's going to have a bunch of tiny mechs coming off of the giant ass arm instead.
That is very appropriate because that's what pretty much happens. It's just not an arm.
This is true. So then we see a dragon ship, and it scorches the entire castle.
With like no damage. Did you notice that? So it's like, "Blah!" and then still standing just fine.
Stone.
Still though, like
It was
no
just
damage.
fire.
No
But
damage.
yes, there was no damage.
No, this
some
is a
of
Game
the
of Thrones
mechs
Dragonfire.
overheated. Like they showed them get engulfed in the flames, but then there was still like a fuck ton of mechs around. So I don't know what happened with that. Like if it actually did like any real damage to it. And then they end the episode off with a proper cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's true. I was just
This
like,
is the first and only cliffhanger in this series, I think.
where I cared.
No, just like literally the first and only cliffhanger.
Because they had the cliffhanger where they're just like, and then the magic beasts attack. And it's just like, oh, okay, maybe we're gonna get into the
at the
beast.
very first episode where they're like magic beasts
No.
appear. What are those?
When the army of magic beasts, the ant king or ant queen was like leaving the nest. That was over an episode break.
And that was like alluded to when they showed the face of the big tittied moth girlfriend.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I get what you're talking about. All right. We're getting there, guys. Episode 12, Knight and Dragon.
Episode 12 should have been the end.
The Jabberwockies launch a counterattack with powerful flying wyvern mech. Ernie fights back, but his foe this time is far smarter than before, and he has a new trap. Chris probably liked that he can defeat even the Igaruga.
I like how all of his rage just comes from the aesthetic.
Yes. So, and this is where I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, look, they embedded Silhouette Knights into the battleship. And Ernie did not like that.
No. You did remake proper turrets?
Yeah. That totally ruins the aesthetic. Now I'm really angry. Really? Really? Only a knight
Screw
can
your
take down a
aesthetic.
dragon.
It's all about power.
Yeah, power. Swords. The more swords I have, the stronger I am, right? Yeah, that's right.
I just can't do anything but shake my head.
Yeah. Only a knight can take down a dragon. Like, his stupid little one-liners about aesthetics and whatnot are just stupid.
How old was he when he died? Because he's
Too
acting
old.
like a 12-year-old.
Too
Yes.
old.
He was like 36.
That's right, yeah. This had to do with programming at some point in time.
Yes. That's had to do with programming. And he does talk about, like, oh, I'm going to have to rewrite the programming and blah, blah, blah,
scripts.
blah, blah, and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Sword Freak is back. All of his swords and new tricks. Addie comes in and she helps him out by firing off a SAM pack off of her back. Dietrich has coward flashbacks again, and then electrocutes the dude, forces the mech to overuse his ether supply.
This was actually
Which
a
was
fun fight,
great.
except for how they kept talking to each other. I was just like, shut up. Shut up.
That's what happens in Gundam.
No, but like his like what he would say was just so bad.
Well,
like
yeah,
the dude, bro.
He's the one that sounded like the stoner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was stoned as shit. He also said, swords are strong. The more swords I am, the more swords I have, the stronger I am. It's logic.
The best
I mean, come on.
The best line was like, he's like, you can't just like throw down your swords. That's part of you. And he's just like, don't worry, I'll go pick them up. But you'll be fucking dead.
You'll see it. That was good.
That was so great. She's like, oh no, I'll pick them up. I'm not a wasteful person, even though I'm fucking insane.
And then,
But I'll
this is
kill
like,
you first.
after all the Dietrich stuff, I'm like, best guy in anime, period. Dietrich, best boy.
Oh yeah.
Hands down, best boy. All right, so this is when they create a smoke screen to choke out the ether reactor that they have inside of the Ikaruga, because they realize like everything pulls ether from the air, and also to possibly damage the writing on the plates.
The magic, whatever.
Yeah, the
I
magic circle.
guess? Yeah, I don't know.
The laziness of the writing was just like, hey, we're gonna make it about mechs, but instead of explaining how they work, we're just gonna say magic.
And then the dragon withdraws. Lame. So stupid. But then they talk about the blood ether reactor. And he has a lot of theories. Like, everything's in theory. In theory. It could drive the mech to go crazy and kill everybody, in theory, even though it doesn't have any sentiency or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like in how they never used those abilities really until he talked about them. Like they said, this is why it's happening. It's just like, well, why didn't you show it? Like, why weren't we amused by anything? Because I thought the whole time up until then, just because we had shitty ass mechs and then new mechs that they stole with the back guns. And it was like, well, they're just winning just because they have newer mechs. They didn't explain that there's even more technology in these mechs at any given time until they found it. And it's just like, well, we just found this new technology. Good thing no one ever used them until now.
Oh my god. It's so ridiculous. Okay. Oh, they decide that they're going to give the Sword Freak the Royal Knight, the strongest mech in the kingdom.
Yup.
Ooh.
Because it works so well for the prince.
Yes. I was waiting for oohs and ahs, and there were none.
There were none to be had.
Then I realized as we're doing this, like, we haven't seen the toy box in a while, and you still won't.
Yeah. There were so many things that they like never.
He's got his new mech now.
Yeah, they never brought up
new
or
mix.
talked
But
about again.
This is shit that's supposed to happen from season to season, not like every other episode. Like, you're not supposed to be like, yeah, and I've got this really cool thing, and then we're never going to talk about it again as soon as it's gone.
Well, because they're across the country for reasons.
For reasons.
To rape and pillage. That's why they're sent over
Stuff
here.
and things. Yeah, this is true, and the toy box would get in the way of raping and pillaging.
This is true.
Unless it was a sex toy box. No.
Robot fucker. Mech fucker.
Okay. Princess has suddenly gotten ballsy. They blaze through more battles like there's nothing, or like they're nothing.
More maps.
And they've now made their own ship. Like, yay, okay, wow, that was quick. How many months did we skip? They didn't talk about skipping months within this time period. It just magically happened.
Obviously did.
Yep,
Months,
obviously.
maybe even years.
Other people seem
man.
to age, not whatever his name is.
Not Ernie.
Ernie. Yeah,
None of
you.
them do. None of them aged.
No, the coward and the jock. They
Yeah,
aged.
but the kids who are
Kids
the
didn't.
ones that technically should be aging the most, because you more rapidly age through adolescence, and then once you get to like 18, it's much slower. Yeah, they don't.
They're all robots. Ernie made them all.
Oh shit. Okay, so now we get to the meat and potatoes of what this whole fight is about. The whole reason for beating them is so that airships don't become the norm and make robots obsolete. This is the entire reason that Ernie is doing this fight. He legit says this at the end of the episode. Episode
And they're
12.
gonna become battleships. And that's just gonna ruin the aesthetic, and I can't let that stand.
Exactly. Oh my god. Fucking
Even
otaku.
if this is all just a joke, it is just so poor.
It is the worstest joke.
The worst.
Okay, guys.
Kill
Are
it.
you ready?
Kill it.
We're in the home stretch. Episode 13, Heaven and Earth. After 2 draws, it's time for the final showdown against the Wyvern. Viver? The capital city is almost at hand, and all that remains from the Western Grand Storm is to come to a close is for Ernie to defeat the huge Wyvern mech. Like, seriously, they call it the Viver and then they say Wyvern mech. And, again, Crunchyroll cares so much about this. Grand Storm, capital S, capital T, little O, little R, little M. Crunchyroll cares about this anime, everybody. We should all care about this anime. Jesus Christ. All right. Okay, they start off with, we built this ship for ramming things. And then as soon as something crazy happens and they start getting fired at, they turn tail and run.
Right, yeah. I that was hilarious. Especially with him standing on top of it, just like, you have guns of your own. And they're like, no, run! Run!
Oh, we can't do it.
Start firing things off that are filled with some sort of liquid. Oh, it's oil. And then they just start burning the entire thing. Which I thought was hilarious.
Like the lightning wouldn't light the oil on fire initially.
Yes.
No, that was great. That was so much fun because it's all on fire. Everyone's freaking out, and Benjamin Franklin's just like, fire's neat. We should definitely look at that some
I
more."
like fire. You
like
know what
fire.
we should do? We should start using the blood ether organ crazy phantasmographic reactor.
You know what we should do? We should get really fucking high.
They already were. They were
Led Zeppelin
high
starts playing, they
as
light up the
kite.
pink bong, turn on the black light, and suddenly the dragon's got more power.
And suddenly the dragon's giant. Like,
And it's
really fucking big.
Pink. Or fuchsia, whatever. And it's humongous. And like, seriously, it could have just had like sweet ass guitar riffs going on in the background, some Purple Haze playing. It'd have been perfect.
Well, they are from the Fire Kingdom.
This is true.
It's gotta be some kind of shade.
420 blaze it.
They call it the maximized form. And it's just basically like this giant projected force field of it.
Right. I was like, what? So you made light? What's so cool
Yeah.
about this?
Hard light. Hard light.
Hard light.
They made hard light, which is a
So I
thing
guess
from
there's just
something
too
else. I
much
forget what
power
it's
for this body. You had to grow bigger.
Yes, more power. Ha, 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 ha.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
It's been so fucking long since I've watched Tim the Toolman Taylor. I forget how his thing goes.
I'm not going to try it either.
Oh look, Sword Freak is back. And then suddenly the queen, like who had been standing there, she's sitting in her mech that's just kind of like standing there with its arms crossed, watching the entire thing.
I
Like,
also
sure.
liked their decision to like bring everybody along and like assault them directly. It's just like, how is this better than leaving like 2 people behind? Because you're still assaulting them. Like now you're just abandoning everybody instead of just a princess.
Well, and it's like, why? Okay, let's take the princess and let's throw her in the gaudiest fucking mech that she can't pilot, and she's just sitting there. And literally, shit starts coming down in that area, and she can't do anything.
Yep.
She can't retreat, can't fight, can't do shit 'cause she doesn't know how to pilot it. She's just sitting in this giant fucking mech.
Well, it's good
And
aesthetic though.
how did
Yes.
how did the Werven whatever destroyed? Like it just like kind of happened.
The Viver?
Yeah.
I don't
I was
know.
nodding off at this
we
time. I don't
might-
remember.
We might get to it in my notes here, but I'm not entirely certain on that. I don't quite remember.
Because I think they just kind of skipped it. Like, okay, it's dead now. Weird crazy guy's gone.
Well, so then this is Shannon walks in the middle of this portion while I'm watching this, and she's like walking around in the bedroom, and they're having this like projected thought conversation where they're arguing back and forth about things, and I'm like writing down my notes.
Purple
and
haze,
it
man.
stops. It stops, and I pause it, and Shannon's like, "What? Like, what is going on?" And I said, "Okay, honey, this is literally what I just wrote. Oh God, an existential spiritual argument."
They're
She's
all
like,
really,
"Yep, nope, that sounds about right."
really fucking high.
So high, the most high.
All high on that ether.
So the sword. Then they switch to the sword freak, and he's fighting Edgar and fucks up Edgar, and jams his swords into the body of Edgar, and he's like, "What are you gonna do now? You can't do anything." He's like, "I just needed to hold you here." He's like, "What?" And he turns, and the prince is getting ready and blasts him off from the side. And
Looks
then
like Team Rocket's blasting off again.
But okay, so later on, he's alive, but they literally showed his cockpit getting disintegrated by the blasters on the prince's mech.
So that's something that's really
And
bugged
then
me
it
about this
landed
show.
in the moat.
They like do like they don't like, most animes are just like no one ever dies, everyone's fine, you know, or they like murder everyone. This one's just like we murder some, but some people survive for some reason. And it's just like I don't like pick a side. Like let's be cutesy about it or not be cutesy about it. Like cuz they even say like we've murdered everybody, but then they're like, "Oh, but some people didn't get murdered."
So now the whole thing for the Viver is like having issues, and the guy who is piloting it, the captain, climbs into a mech, and I sat there and I'm like, they never really showed a really good close up, but every time that I looked at it, I'm like, I think there's a mech in the head of that thing. Mm-hmm. And sure as shit, there's a mech in the head of the giant Viver, and it starts like flying down and going to attack, and then this is where the princess or queen or whatever the hell she is, because they refer to her as the queen, but then there's a coronation later, which means that she wasn't the queen, she was just the princess. I don't know. But she's just literally just sitting there in her mech and can't move it and won't move it.
She doesn't even want to. She's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I need to stand my ground. There's a giant thing falling from the sky headed directly towards you. I think you can take a few steps back.
So they hit it with, I think they hit it with some of the SAM packs and a bunch of stuff, and they were pulling it off to the side, and Kid finally did something. I knew that. I was like, Kid finally does something.
Well,
that's what I wrote down.
Ernesti, whatever, flies down and starts like holding it up and stopping it from going down, and then
Oh yeah,
Kid
but you
runs-
asked how it got destroyed. And I'm like trying to remember how it got
Oh.
destroyed, and I literally didn't write a note down of how it got destroyed.
It's like
So that's why I'm
it
like,
just
I
kind of
think-
like happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened, I guess.
I didn't really explain it. Okay, now it's destroyed.
Either that or
His
they,
hash is all stems and seeds.
or did they use up the blood ether reactor? They might have used up the blood
Oh yeah,
ether
that's totally it.
reactor.
It was the
Yeah.
double-edged sword of it all.
So then it started falling down, because then it falls down And Kid loses his centaur, which he has to like do like an ejector seat thing out and fly, and then Ernie catches him.
Well, yeah, because that's when he runs the centaur down and jumps on top of it.
Yes.
To try to kill them back on top.
Yes.
So then it doesn't kill the princess.
Yes, that's right. Who he wants to bone, but is too stupid to realize that he wants to bone her. And then the next thing that I have written down after all that is, oh god, Ernie has the blood ether reactor. Because that's the last fucking thing that this little fucking otaku needs. Every knight in the order is an idiot. Why is the old man king sitting on the throne?
I know, right? What the hell just happened? The sun fucked up so bad.
And this totally ruined the entire thing of what you were thinking of, like the king renounced his title, like gave it up and let the son take over so that he could travel with him. No, instead of that, like, that's a stupid idea. We don't want an old guy there. Let's send the young asshole with them.
Yep.
Oh, man. Literally no loose ends are tied up at the end of this. Like, none whatsoever.
The old crazy otaku guy just floating around on his little airship. Like,
yeah.
I'll be watching you.
Like, at first I thought that it had, like, a balloon on top, and then it's like a bathtub that he flies off in. Everyone's finally done listening to Ernie's shit. They all just walk off.
Yep.
And airships still end up becoming mainstream. Right. So, Ernie's whole reason for fighting this entire battle was moot, and Ernie lost.
Ernie lost.
Well, he done fucked up by building his own airship.
Yes, he did done fucked up by building his own airship. And that's it, everybody. We have suffered.
Or is it?
No,
that's it. That's it. This thing was 2007. I looked. Not 2007. 2017. I looked, and I do not see season 2 of this.
Thank God.
At all coming up.
We'll save that story for another time.
Which would technically be like seasons 4 through 7. Season 2, season 4 through 7, all condensed into one single season. Oh God, I'm so glad that this anime is over now.
Yes.
Like done, Dunsky, Dunzo, the whole 9 yards. We don't have to fucking watch this anymore. We don't have to talk about it. Although we're probably gonna end up bringing this up like in thoughts and whatnot of like how stupid an anime was.
I like his quote at the end too. Robots are a man's romance.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's after all of the credits. Because I was like, all right, gotta watch the end of the credits just to see if there's like any
I was waiting for that, and then he did just say that. That's right.
It's just a still shot. It's just like, okay, they obviously didn't care.
Yeah, at all.
At all.
Either that or like we weren't watching the subbed version. Maybe they did care, and when they dubbed it, they're like, "Fuck it, let's fuck this up."
It's just just so bad,
so bad. Oh man.
It's
you know what we forgot to do, Jason?
Fuck those robots.
Before we start going on to the next little segment where we talk about our next anime.
Talking about blog roll.
Yeah, we forgot to do our blog roll.
We can do a blog roll. All right. Hey, you listening. If you're listening right now, you now qualify for like our best friend. And we'd like to thank you for that. So please send us an email. Best friend forever. Please send us an email to anything at I Beat It First. It can be Eric at I Beat It First, Jason at I Beat It First, Chris at I Beat It First, Cutscene at I Beat It First. We're here. We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. We want to know what's going on with your thoughts, with your mind, what we think about the podcast, what you like, what you hate, recommendations. We'd love to hear it all because you're now our number one best friend.
Witty banter.
Witty banter.
Horrible anime.
Good news though, we are now officially on Spotify, so you can keep finding us on whatever popular podcast program that you use. Now including Spotify. Please be sure
to give
us...
We're now officially on every major platform.
Every major platform,
baby.
Which is dope. So check us out on every major platform, and then also while you're there, check out our other podcast, which is about I Beat It First proper, and that is more video games, news and reviews, and other shenanigans that we get up to. If you like what we do here with anime, check out our other one, I Beat It First. Also, while you're there, check out ibeatitfirst.com. It's our official website where you can find out all little information about us and how to get into contact with us. And we also throw up some reviews and information up there. Sometimes, I don't know.
Stuff and things.
Sometimes, whatever. But be sure to give us drop us a line, rate us, review us, let us know what you think, what you hate, what you love, and let us know what's going on. And otherwise, let us know how much Eric sucks, because he's going to tell us what we're watching next.
I will, but I think that what we need to do is kind of cleanse our palate a little bit, and let's talk about some anime that we have been watching that is good. So I'm going to start it off with Shield Hero. Chris, you've been watching this, haven't you?
Yes. And I've read a decent amount of the manga as well for that one.
Why aren't we watching this?
What, Shield Hero?
For our show. Yeah, why aren't we
Because
watching?
it's continually going on.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be more than 12
Like,
episodes.
it just started. We can, if you want, but that would mean that Chris and I would have to stop watching Shield Hero. And it's really good. Like, really good.
Well, yeah, that makes me say yes.
But it's going to be at least a 24-hour.
Oh, is it a
episode
24
one.
episode?
I think so.
Well, do they have it, ready to go, or is it going to be, years in between like other ones?
No, I think it's, ready to go, initial run.
Kind of like, is it that time I got reincarnated as a slime?
Yeah.
That's a full, 24, 26 episode one, so it would not be part of that,
Yeah,
which is also
25
another
episodes.
good episode. It's also another really good anime that we've been watching, which is awesome. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is great, and does the whole reincarnated in a fantasy realm thing way better than that anime.
Way better.
did.
Way better.
Way better. Oh man, what else have you been watching, Jason?
I rewatched Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, which is way creepier than it sounds, but or isn't
it's
as creepy
less
as it sounds.
creepier
Yeah,
than
yeah,
it
yeah.
sounds. Less creepy than
Yeah.
it sounds.
Whatever. I'm a horrible person. Just because I'm getting pumped for the new season that should be coming out for that.
Woot woot. I need to rewatch One Punch Man because season 2's coming out for that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
Watch
right.
it
I
for,
think
like,
next
the
season, I think
18th
it's for
time.
One Punch Man 2.
I told myself I wanted to do that for Mob Psycho, but I haven't gotten into it yet.
I did rewatch it earlier, so there was still months in between, but I did rewatch Mob Psycho back in September or October or something like that.
I want to rewatch Mob Psycho, but I haven't gotten around to it. But I have been watching season 2.
How is it going?
It's going pretty good. These last couple of episodes are pretty good.
Did they take
Pretty-
a week-long break or something like that, or am I just waiting for that I missed the drop? Because they had... The last episode that I had was that one spirit that he was fighting, and then he wakes up.
Yeah, you're missing this week's.
Okay, cool. So there's another episode.
Yep.
Sweet. In related news to that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Grand Summoners is doing a crossover that starts on Valentine's Day.
Which is your gachapon game that you're playing?
Yeah, it's a Gashpon mobile game. It's fun though. Most people that actually start getting into it, they like it because it's part of it takes a lot of thought and going through. But then there are certain parts where you can get your whole system set down to where you can auto go through missions. But it's got a great multiplayer, which I like. But they're gonna have Miram in it. They're going to have the red ogre guy, and then they're going to have... what's the main character's name? Why am I spacing on his name? Yeah, Rimuru. They're going to have both Rimuru's human form and his slime form, which is going to be dope. All right. So the next anime that we are watching is Outbreak Company. We talked about it on the last episode. This one is another anime that does a different... genre, or does a genre that's kind of already getting a little played out, the whole gate opening up and traveling into that other parallel world. But I've already I decided to do a multi-episode homework piece on this to make sure that I investigated it and that it was good, unlike what I accidentally pushed us into on this last one. So this one's actually really good. So let me read the plot for Outbreak Company to you. Shinichi Kano is a young secluded otaku who's offered a job thanks to his vast knowledge of anime, manga, and video games. However, just after meeting his new employer, he is kidnapped, awakening in an alternate world with a fantasy setup. Shinichi is then informed that he was in fact selected by the Japanese government to help improve his country's relations with this new world by establishing a company to spread the unique products of Japanese culture to this new one, unexplored market.
Okay. What? Is this a comedy or?
Yes.
What? Okay, cool. Dope. Down.
It is totes a comedy. He basically has to go to this parallel world that's medieval style setting. However, unlike Gate, where there's a lot of like diplomatic stuff going on and there's a lot of, talks and everything like that, at least at the beginning, he has to spread otaku culture.
So he's going to bring sexualized instant ramen over to medieval
Yes.
times. All right, cool. Dope. Down.
Yes. And lots of manga. Like there's some video game in the couple episodes that I watched, there's some video game, but primarily all manga, and I don't remember seeing any anime. But it's good. It starts taking on a different tone than what it originally lets out, which is going to be awesome.
Nice. So that we're starting up right away, right?
Yeah, we'll start that up on the next podcast, which should drop somewhere around February 19th.
Cool. All right.
So everybody, watch episodes 1 through 4 of Outbreak Company, and that is what we will be talking about on the next podcast. And we got any final words?
It better be good, Eric, or I'm going to make fun of you so much.
It will at least be funny. Because it's at least funny, which is good. But I think you'll like it, Jason. I think you'll like it.
Dope.
It's at least better than this and Asabi Asabase.
Hey, it was fun making fun of it, so glad it's over, but...
It was, but having, like, after we watched the first 4 episodes, and then we watched the second 4 episodes, bringing myself to watch these final 5 was,
I put it off as long as possible.
I bit the bullet and, like, watched them all, like, Saturday. I was like, I'm just going to get this over with. Then I don't have to worry about anything. Like, I'm just going to get this shit done.
I watch them in pieces. Like, all right, I'll watch a couple here, one here, a couple here.
I literally finished them a half hour ago.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did, Jason. It's not like we gave you, like, an extra day to watch these or anything like that.
Nope.
Nope. Not
Got
at
the extra
all.
time. Gonna fill it with more important things.
What's more
All right.
important than watching this anime?
Everything is more important than watching this anime. I would prefer to get a root canal than watch this anime. It was bad. It was just horrible.
And on that positive note, bye everybody. Have a good time.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great 2 weeks. We will
Bye.
see you with Outbreak Company.
Oh God, like us, please.
So, we're great. The anime was just fucking horrible.
You said it right. The anime is shit, but the source, but we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Podcast is awesome.